moved in to get a wheelchair. Edie texted her parents and Claudia again from the intake area. Once they got in a room, Nathan set up a laptop and a speaker, but there were only 4 songs on the birth playlist they'd started back in January. Neither of them were ready for this. But Claudia didn't rattle, and when Claudia got here, it would be all right. An hour passed and Edie lost count of the strangers coming in and going out of the room, looking at the monitor she was attached to, helping her squat over a bin to pee. Finally, just after dawn, the doctor asked if she felt like she could start pushing. At 7:07 a.m., a 5-pound, 9-ounce little girl came shooting out into the world, squint-eyed and crying. Edie was crying too, her arm thrown over her eyes. They sewed her up and put the baby on her chest. Edie looked down and saw the hair on the girl's head. What was she supposed to feel? What was she supposed to do? Where was Claudia? The nurses took the baby to be inspected, and Edie and Nathan were alone in the room for the first time since they'd arrived. She was supposed to have given birth in their little rental house in Poughkeepsie with the midwife she'd chosen. She was supposed to be surrounded by candles. She was supposed to be able to lay her head back on her pillows and gaze at the photographs she'd taken of the places and people who made her feel happy and strong. But that plan dissolved when her mother had announced that if Edie didn't have the baby in the city at the best hospital, she'd lose access to her trust fund. So now she was shivering in a room where the lights never seemed to go down and the machines never stopped buzzing. She closed her eyes and asked Nathan for a blanket. "I can't believe how great you did," he said. Edie kept her eyes shut. She tried to give him a smile, but it probably looked like a wince. "Have you checked my phone?" she asked. "Claudia hasn't called, but I looked at her Instagram." Edie opened her eyes. "What?" "She went out last night." "Let me see." He handed her his phone. Claudia's last post was a selfie. #staycation, #spring break, #NYC, uploaded at 11:04 p.m. from a bar on Bleecker, an hour before Edie texted from the cab. Her sister looked drunk in the photo, her eyelids low, her mouth captured in a scream smile. "Yes, look at me, I'm having so much fun." They talked about this exact thing 2 days ago. 2 days. "I could go at any time," Edie said. "Make sure you have your phone." It was hard to wrap her mind around it. Claudia had missed the birth. All the arrangements, the fucking class they took together. And her sister just got wasted. The nurses wheeled the baby back in a plastic bassinet, swaddled tight and sleeping. "Has someone started you expressing yet?" asked the nurse. Edie shook her head. The nurse told her to squeeze her breast. "Like you're trying to get frosting out of a tube." She held a tiny plastic cup beneath Edie's nipple, but nothing came out. "Keep trying," said the nurse. "It can take some women a while. Keep switching breasts." A few minutes later, Edie's father, Gabriel Castro, peeked in the door. "Can I come in?" Edie pulled her gown back up over her shoulder. Her dad's hair was rumpled. He was wearing a Pavement t-shirt, jeans, and an old pair of Vans. Millions of dollars and half a dozen Grammys after leaving dusty Central California. Her dad still dressed like a boy who had just gotten off a cross-country bus. 6 months ago, Edie's mom, Michelle Whitehouse, had announced that after more than a half a life together, she was leaving him. So that boy was now almost 50, graying and alone. As far as Edie could tell, her dad hadn't left the family's townhouse in a month. But when Nathan set the swaddled child in her father's arms, he giggled. He couldn't contain the happiness the little person she'd made gave him. That was something, thought Edie. Had she made the right decision keeping the baby? This was a check in the yes box. "Does she have a name?" Gabe asked. "I think Edie wanted to wait till you guys were all together to tell everybody," said Nathan. He looked at Edie, who shrugged. What was the point of a big reveal?